Welcome to the Massage Tools Podcast, your home for cool interviews and reviews. Amy, thank you so much for joining us. Let's give the folks a little bit of your background. So how long have you been in the massage field, where you went to school, some of the key points like that?
This will be my 25th year in the massage field. My first school was in Minneapolis, was the Aveda Institute. It was a intensive day spa sort of massage therapy program back at the original Aveda Institute. And then when I moved to Washington right after massage school, the state requirements at that time were different. I had a lot of hands-on time, but I needed more classroom time. So I transferred into the Alexander School of Natural Therapeutics in Tacoma, Washington.
Okay.
So those are my two big massage school chunks. And then I've done other, odds and ends and an additional stint with the integrative nutrition in New York. So I kind of did that online for a year for a health coaching program. So I threw that in there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So kind of leading in, like what drove you to the massage industry or that type of, the industry as a whole? What was your inspiration to join?
So I was really interested in health and wellness, and being in Minneapolis and Minnesota, Aveda was kind of the big thing. And when I saw that they had a day spa program, and I was a young mom, I was newly married. I got married a month after I turned 18 and had a baby, and needed to have a career really quickly to make some money and to work around my family. And massage offered a way to go to school and be certified in something that I could get to work in right away. So at the time, it was more of a convenience of, not to go to school for 4 years, not really knowing what I want to do, but to actually go train for something in more of the technical route and do that. And then it evolved, just kind of, evolved into something pretty magical from there. So.
Yeah, and when you say evolve, like you own your own massage business, and not just like a sole provider, but you have massage therapists that work for you. So will you share a little bit of that journey as well?
For years I worked for myself as a sole proprietor, and I leased spaces, one room here, one room there. And over the years, I've gotten to be quite busy, and I really had a hard time turning people away when my load was full. And so turning people away and saying, maybe you can call so-and-so, or maybe you can call so-and-so. And I wasn't really sure what their work style was. I was also hearing stories of places that employ massage therapists and take advantage of them, some of the larger groups that are out there. And I thought to myself pretty naively that I could do better, I could do it differently. And so if I brought in people under me to give my overflow to, help them along the way and pay them a better wage, and with a massage therapist's health and focus in mind, keeping that right there. That's kind of been an ongoing journey, especially right now during COVID. So it's been about, I'd say 8 or 9 years since I started bringing on employees. And, COVID's done a lot of amazing things in the sense of it really has shown us where our holes are in our industry, as an employer, government. I mean, all kinds of ways that if we look at those holes, when this is all over and we go back and plug them in, that's something that I've been working on during this COVID time is, how do I give my staff 2 weeks off if they need to go home or quarantine? How do we pay them enough that they can have health insurance when I'm asking them, if they come back to work during COVID, do you have health insurance? I mean, responsibilities as an employer, things like that I really want to see in our industry. So I've tried to kind of move in that direction in my practice and really make it a cooperative work with my therapists, so they can be parents, be grandparents, go to school on the side, that kind of thing. So try to soften the employer side of it. So it's been a challenge. But it's been a good one. With
your business, do you kind of cater to massage as the very broad definition of that, or do you maybe lean more towards the therapeutic side or sports side or the relaxation, or do you have therapists that cover the entire swath for you?
Yeah, it depends on who I have working for me at the time. Honestly, I work really hard with a lot of the recreational athletes in our community. we definitely serve more athletes than anyone, but our clients here, because they're recreational athletes, largely, they have full-time jobs. So they're, also desk jockeys. They're also in car accidents. They're also parenting. They're doing all the other things that some of our more elite athletes aren't doing on top of it. So we definitely have more of a therapeutic clinical side to our work. We do get the occasional wellness request, and that's more, what you'd consider like a traditional Swedish massage, more relaxing with relaxing music, and we can make that happen. But that's definitely not our target market. Like, we just, that's not. It's not. I'm probably not a good fit for that anymore. Like, even though that's where I started, you know what I mean? And I've definitely moved into the more aggressive, functional sorts of work. And there's nothing wrong with hot towels, aromatherapy, and all that great stuff. I'll even throw that in to the, the more intensive work I do, because there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's, it doesn't lessen that work, but it's certainly not my focus. So.
Yeah, I joke around with some of my clients. I tend to phrase that there is a time and place for, as you phrased it, wellness massage. It's just generally not time with me and not at my place. Like, there's people are so much more adept at it that I'm like, go see this person if that's what you're really looking for. And I know where my strengths are, and the relaxation Swedish stuff is not one of them. So I feel you.
Yeah. And I have staff that loves to do that. And then when we do have someone that really wants to do that, I really do try to highlight they're really good at it. And so we try to, I have a staff member here right now who does the intraoral stuff. She can't right now because of COVID, but
sure.
So things like that, where I try to highlight my staff skills that we have, but we definitely attract the athletic client for sure.
Okay. So I guess going off of skills, what continuing education or courseworks or anything out there that have been really beneficial to you in your journey kind of into that, I guess if you want to call it medical or sport or that side of the industry, what do you think's made maybe the biggest impact on your personal style?
I think having I did some structural integration work right out of massage school. I did Zen body therapy for a while, and I've learning how to take apart movement patterns, and take apart is, for lack of a better phrase. I always look at what an athlete does or what a client does repetitively throughout their day, and kind of try to break the chain down from there. And so things that were instrumental in that, I think definitely, structural integration type courses. More recently, RockBlades. I know you're a fan of RockBlades, and I am as well. And their continuing education is phenomenal. Like, there's a lot of continuing education out there tries to limit who can have it. For a while it was Graston can only be, chiropractors, or, now they've expanded. But I think RockBlades really kind of pushed the envelope there, that, knowledge for everyone is a great thing. And so I'm pretty excited the way that continuing education is moving. Especially with this online format we've been able to have during COVID. That's definitely been awesome. So, I really like the RockBlades. I think Myofascial Decompression, cuptherapy.com out of California. Those guys are incredible, the things that they're doing, and the research and the evidence-based stuff they're trying to put together to really show what's happening with cup therapy, I think has been pretty great. Just Whitney Lowe is fantastic. He's got that clinical massage program that he does. So there are just so many tools. Yeah.
That's the challenge. You're like, what tools do I start with, or where do I go, and whatnot. I big fan of RockTape's educational model, and they're like, it's not our job to look at what your scope of practice is. We're going to teach anybody, and then you need to go operate in your scope when you're done with this class. And I've seen other companies start to adopt that same philosophy, and it really is how it should be, because there's the information should be accessible. Whether you're allowed to, fully implement it, that's up to licensure boards and whatnot.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. There's no excuse right now to not learn. And it sounds so funny. This is how long I've been doing massage. We have the internet now. Like when I went to massage school, we didn't have the internet. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have videos. We had VHS tapes, anatomy on VHS tapes in the TV. That's it. That's what we had to like go from. And in-person classes, which when you have a young family is hard to make. So I just think the information that's available, let's open it up to everybody. Because even if I can't do it, I can speak to it, and then I can refer to the appropriate place if I need to. Yeah.
Great. Has there been anything that you wouldn't necessarily label directly in as a massage continuing ed that's kind of helped your practice?
So many little business courses that I've done. I'm, Institute for Integrative Nutrition I did through New York. They had a lot of really great, I don't even do health coaching, but the pieces of the interview process, working with clients, that's been really helpful. Just really looking at how you ask a question, how watching a client's response, those kinds of interpersonal skills that has nothing to do with, it could be across the board, anything, right?
Sure.
But just taking the time to listen to people and connect with people. I know you have the martial arts background, but we had one of my first massage instructors was in martial arts, and I'm trying to remember what he did. It didn't really matter, but the point of it is that he really brought energy work into the beginning of everything. And it's not it's more of a presence and being centered and focused, and working on that and being present and focused with each client. Isn't really a hands-on massage skill, but it's certainly a skill that lends to better massage, right?
Yeah, that's a great answer. I love both of those. The kind of centered, whether it's martial arts derived or mindfulness practices that give you that presence, as you stated. And then, I see so much of the advertising that pops up on, kind of targeted towards massage now. I've seen so much more of it built around business, and I'm like, yeah, my massage school did really well with training anatomy and hands-on techniques, but not so much on the business side of it. So that's I'm glad you found a set of courseworks that are beneficial for that.
Yeah,
I think that's I think anybody who gets into, whether it's our industry or like the cash-based PTs or, chiropractic or whatnot, like they all run in the same thing. Like, how do I get people? How do I talk to them? How do I relate? And so those are great answers. Thank you so much for sharing those. So given the courses that you've taken, the kind of the business stuff, is there any advice you would give to yourself, like right out of school, like just as you'd finish, like, go take this right away, or hey, start reading up on this and whatnot?
So I think, because I thought about this, when I left massage school, I was really feeling taken advantage of by my school, because the first school I went to, we did 40-hour weeks. We did 5 days, 5 hours, 5 massages a day. So we do coursework, and then we would jump right into clinical massage. And I thought, this is too much. We're working too hard. They're taking advantage of us. And I left there kind of with a chip on my shoulder. And I find graduates coming out of school now don't have enough clinical time. I would encourage grads to get their hands dirty, get in the trenches. Like, I would have told myself, like, you don't realize the gift you've been given is that the standard of what it's like to work that's a lot of work, but it is what it is. It's just not an easy field. So I think I would encourage new grads to just get their hands on people, start networking. I did not network enough, and partly because I had a young family, I just didn't have time. But my community is a pretty full and rich bodywork community in Washington. And it was 25 years ago even, which was amazing to me coming from Minnesota. or it wasn't quite there yet. So I wish I would have networked a little more and maybe found a mentor to work with, and that kind of thing. I would encourage more work and find a mentor. That's what I would say.
Okay. So do you think you fill kind of a mentor role at your spa or your business?
Okay. Yeah, I try. Definitely try. I'll have my staff come in and get me. Sometimes if they have a client they're stuck with, that kind of thing, I'm happy if the client's comfortable with me coming in and kind of leaning over and showing them some things, that kind of stuff. And my phone is always available for my staff to call me and ask questions and go over things. We've had some tricky stuff come up, and I think we've worked it out really well. And I have no problem also calling some of my people that I look up to across allied health professionals for advice as well. So yeah, I try to keep that conversation going all the time. Yeah.
When it comes to your staff, do you recruit? Do they seek you out? Like, I guess how do you select the crew that becomes your staff?
It's hard. I will say that's been the hardest thing I've had, is to find people that I find qualified and that want to work enough. People will, I want to be a massage therapist, but I'd only like to work 4 hours a week. So it's kind of like, it's a hard, really experienced therapists don't necessarily always want to work for someone else. And I understand that. I wouldn't probably want to either. So finding a younger therapist, newer therapist that is really committed, who wants to put in the time to learn the ropes, I'm happy to help teach them. Someone that's responsible, that shows up on time, that, there's lots of little tiny things that I run into. I've had some staff. Right now I have someone here from, oh gosh, where did she come from? She just came, and she looked us up online, and she saw my bio, and she wants to work with us for a period of time. So she's only here through October, so she just started. And she's from Nebraska. So she just started, and she just wants to be here for the experience for a short period of time. And right now I'm flexible with that. So we're working on that. So we get a little bit of both. We get a little bit of, I put ads out there on Indeed and sift through what we get. And yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's, I haven't quite ventured into the facility ownership side of the industry yet. So it's something that I'd like to eventually get to, and very much in that role where like bring in some kind of newer, hungrier therapist, but that's a couple of years down the road in my head. So, but yeah. I'll pick brains when I can.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for people coming out of school. Like I did this talk with a class, and they were hesitant to even apply because they haven't been doing it for very long. I'm like, that's not, if you have hands-on skills, we can work with so much. And if you're willing to learn, we can work with so much. It's really just the desire and wanting to work, that I look for. Professionalism, obviously. Sometimes I'll get an interview or get a resume. I'll look them up on social media, and that's the end of that. Just like, nope. Yeah, if you don't know to not put that on social media, I don't know what else you don't know how to do. So yeah. Professionalism is definitely something that filters out a lot of people.
If you could maybe pick one thing in your 25-year journey, like what's just the best part, or just what you love about being a massage therapist?
So honestly, I have this moment, I feel like, when I'm working daily. I love the honesty that's in massage therapy. Through and through. I don't have to sell anything I don't believe in. Most people leave me feeling better than they did when they came. And I just feel like that echoes out. I don't feel like I'm doing anything against the grain of my beliefs. And I just love that massage provides that for me. Whether it's an Olympic athlete, whether it's an Olympian, I live in Olympia, so whether it's an Olympian, or somebody, that's just, 35-year-old woman who's just running her first marathon, and we're just getting ready, through the training process, and out the door she goes to her big thing, and we made through training injury free. Things like that. Those are daily moments for me where I definitely am checking my gratitude and very grateful for finding this career where I'm definitely contributing, I feel like, to society in a way that's a positive influence.
Yeah, I love that. That's 2, 3, 4. There's a bunch of wonderful sentiments, but the honesty and work that really resonates with me. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's so many questions I could go on about, but I guess one of them is to kind of, what would you like to see, if any, shift in the massage industry in the next, I don't know, say 5 or 10 years? Any changes you'd like to see in it, or if you think it's right on course, stay on course?
I'd like to see a lot of changes.
That's fine.
So I really think, and again, COVID really has highlighted this for me too, is we are all over the board as massage therapists. I feel like there's so many different groups there are people who do want to do wellness spa work only, and that's awesome. Like, if there's benefit to that, that's great. But we also have those of us that want to be invited to the table with our allied health professionals that want to work collaboratively, medically, and with teams, and want to be literate in research and in how we can lend a hand to help recovery for all kinds of things. And that takes a little more than the spa massage, wellness massage basics. I feel like as an industry in America, we need to move massage therapy, if we want to be invited to the table, into either different categories or the whole thing up to a level that's a little probably more daunting than I would have signed up for in the beginning. I think, I let my national board certification lapse because it was new when I first started, and kind of like, well, I don't really need it. It was Washington State's exam at the time. So I kept it up for a while, and then I kind of let it slide off, and went back several years ago and kind of renewed that, and thought to myself, if I want massage therapy to be the highest level it can be, and then I should probably work towards maintaining the highest level I can be, right? And so also through COVID, I've been finishing my bachelor's in massage therapy through Siena Heights University through the national board. So I transferred all my credits over there. So I'm a senior in college right now. So, so I'm doing that while I wasn't working. So I'm trying to put my money where my mouth is on that, and do that. But I would like to see us elevate our profession. I see it in other countries where we're a little more professional, a little more pulled together, know how to follow the rules, that kind of thing. And I think I'd also like to see sports massage pull together a national group. I know it's been talked about a number of times, but it never seems to get off the ground. And I think we lose some leverage when it comes to things like, I'd like to see our pay go up. I think especially sports massage and people who probably contract and travel with massage in general, we're so far underpaid and undervalued. And I think we need to get together and figure out how we can ask for what we're worth. Working with college teams, working with professional teams, we just don't get enough. So I'd really like to see that change as well. Yeah.
So if I can pick apart the first, where you kind of want to elevate the industry, let's say someone's personally motivated to do that, and going out on their own, what's maybe one of those areas you'd like to see us a little more? You mentioned like research literacy, or if there's a certain level of anatomy or physiology, is there any of those areas that you can probably like kind of pinpoint, or at least suggest, like, hey, if you're interested in elevating, like here's a direction to go, or here's something to look into? I see it. I mean, when I look in our Facebook groups and things like that, we're just so inconsistent.
I just would like there to be a little more standard of what's even legal. Sometimes I'm surprised at people who don't know what's legal and what's not, even in some states. And I'd like to see more uniform requirements, I guess, state to state. That it's just we're not as unified as, say, our allied health professionals in like athletic training or PTs, things like that have a little more uniform, from the outside it looks like anyways, a little more uniform mission. And I'm really not sure where I would start to try to elevate it, but because there's so many things. I think we have the Massage Research Foundation. They're awesome. If we could just bring all these together in a little tighter way, maybe, and bring it through the schools. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm here to interview you, not the other way around.
I just see it's just kind of all over right now, and I'm just trying to go like, let's just, zone in on our role and as being as professional and as clear as we can be, and understanding the laws. And so those are a couple things that I just want to see change. The other thing I'd like to see change, and this is a sports thing, is I'd like athletes who get massage not to be afraid to say they get massage. I'd like it to still not be perceived as a weakness or fluff, as it were. Sure. We know how much we're there. We know how much we do. And it's just so interesting how we always just get skimmed over in the like, what did you do to prepare for your competition? I ate great. I talked to my psychologist. I did all this stuff with my coach, and I have a medal. You know what I mean? So I would love to see athletes own that they get massage. I mean, there's no shame in the game, I guess. And so I'd like to see that perception shift also on the bigger level. That's another thing I'd like to see change. And the other thing, and this is completely off of all of that, is I also would like to see the human trafficking underneath massage therapy. Somehow it needs to get handled. I'm not really sure what I can do about that, but we have so much human trafficking happening, and they're hiding under massage therapy. And I'm not really sure what to do about that, but that is something I'd like to see also change in the next 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
That's a big
faster than that, but that's
it's a big one.
Let's see.
I'll take care of that later.
Yeah. Those are great points. I loved all of it. I think we'll wrap with that. So thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate hearing from you. And hey, folks, keep your heads up, because we're going to see her next week for a sport massage based practice, our sports tool category. So stick around for that one. Amy, thank you again. Thank you for joining us, folks. The mission of Massage Tools Podcast is to inspire. So help us inspire you. Ask questions, leave suggestions in the comments section. Give us a like if you enjoyed the video. And if you want to see more content, please click that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and hey, check out these links for other videos here.